A wonderful morning to everyone who has joined today. From ManageEngine family, we would like to extend our warm welcome and sincere thanks to all our customers, partners, and users who are interested in our solutions. Endpoint management and security is one of the main focus areas of ManageEngine. Let me introduce myself. My name is Harsha Kumar, and I'm endpoint management products, including Desktop Central. I'm also shooting in case of any challenges. In today's webinar, we will focus on endpoint management solutions, which has different product portfolios under management and security. During today's webinar, we will be discussing the Desktop Central suite, which has management and security capabilities. So once again, welcome to the Desktop Central webinar, and let's have a look at the training schedule. We are on week 5, which is remote control and tools. This is one of the modules of our endpoint management and security suite. We have already completed patch management, endpoint security add-on, software management, and asset management. In case if you have missed any of the previous webinars, you can always view them on the link shown at the bottom of the screen. Also, if you're interested in our upcoming training on May, please do register yourself using the same link. I'm also happy to announce that we are offering a certificate of participation for our attendees, and it includes series 1, 2, 3, and 4, which is going to be conducted over a period starting April 6th and ending on May 4th, 2021. For more details, please refer the below link. So today's topic is remote control. We will focus on the options in remote control and other tools that Desktop Central offers to manage your endpoints in a distributed environment. So let me quickly speak about the agenda. We will be starting with an overview of Desktop Central, and we will see difficulties in managing endpoints in a distributed environment and options that Desktop Central provides to overcome these difficulties. Followed by that, we will discuss on the uses of remote control and other tools in Desktop Central, including few real-time examples. We will see how to send alerts using Desktop Central to the end user about the patching cycle and how remote control and tools can be effectively used by a help desk technician to assist the end users. I have also taken the most common issues in PCs, that is system slowness. So we can also see how the tools in Desktop Central will help you troubleshoot such common issues. And as you're aware, in an organization, enforcing IT policy is very much important. So we will also see how we can monitor the endpoint productivity details as well. And we can wind up the session with few real-time scenarios and frequently asked questions with respect to remote control and tools. Also, during this entire, if you have any sort of technical questions, please do use the chat window and raise a chat to us. We have an expert panel who are ready to assist and answer any of your technical questions or doubts. So without further ado, what is Desktop Central is an unified endpoint management solution that ensures all of your endpoints are secure and enables the users to use them effectively for business. A popular research analyst called Forrester defines UEM as the follows. UEM is the product that provides a centralized policy engine for managing and securing employee laptops and mobile devices from a single console. In unified endpoint management, you can manage endpoints in both a traditional IT management fashion, which includes patch management, application management, configurations, inventory, remote control, OS deployment, and the tools module. Similarly, endpoints can also be managed with modern management functionalities. So all modern operating systems support modern management. It supports features like geo-tracking, geofencing, managing Windows Store applications, profile distributions to enforce restrictions, also operating system reset and recovery. So can you guess a popular operating system when I say modern operating systems? That's right. Windows and Mac are good examples of modern operating systems. So Desktop Central can manage both the world's traditional and modern from a single web console. So the slide that you're looking at right now is the features under Unified Endpoint Management. You can leverage these when you're using Desktop Central. So we have patch management, which not only takes care of operating system updates, but even third-party application patching. We also have application management. You can also manage other functionalities, including mobile device management. If you have to manage devices, Android devices, Windows, even your Chromebooks can be managed. In modern management, which is for Windows and Mac machines, you can perform modern management features like geo-tracking, complete, or corporate wipe. You can in fact have them put in a kiosk mode. You can distribute apps to those devices and manage the profile distribution. We also have OS deployment, which is a hardware independent deployment where you can create a single master image and deploy that image to multiple machines in a single deployment. We also have an endpoint security add-on like browser management, application control, device control plus, and vulnerability management. So if you have any questions or doubts regarding this, please raise it in the chat window for more details. Hence, with Desktop Central, a unified endpoint management experience is provided to you where you can manage desktops, laptops, mobile phones, tablets, servers, point of sale devices, and even the browsers. All of this from a single web console. I'm also happy to announce that Desktop Central is recognized for the best unified endpoint management tool this year yet again, as reviewed by our customers in Gartner Peer Insight Customers' Choice Award. We have also been recognized in the top 4 IDC MarketScape reports for UEM this year. So here are the categories of the recognition. Now, let us begin with the essential and optional components for Desktop Central to function. The Desktop Central server is the central component that you will install. It provides with the interface to the management web console. The agent is also an essential component which requires to be installed in your client machines. Thirdly, the notification server is also an essential component which is responsible for any on-demand actions like remote control. We will discuss this in detail shortly. Now, when we take a look at the optional components, we have a distribution server, which serves as a repository to store your patches, softwares, or scripts that you're looking to deploy in a machine part of a remote office. We can also create unique replication policies for each locations that you manage as per your bandwidth requirement. We also have the secure gateway server. This is useful to manage machines that are not part of your LAN or not connected by VPN. So your internet connected devices can be managed without a VPN dependency using secure gateway server. If you require high availability, you can also consider the failover server add-on, which is licensed separately. And if you would prefer to view the web console at a language of your choice, you can consider the multi-language add-on pack as well. Talking about the supported operating systems, we support all the three major operating systems: Windows, Mac, and different flavors of Linux. So here is a complete list of the supported operating system. Please do be informed that the primary application server runs on the Windows platform only, but the endpoints can be part of any of these platforms: Windows, Mac, or the different flavors of Linux. By installing this desktop central agent to your client machines, the functionalities might vary among the operating systems. You can always reach out to support if you require any kind of technical clarification. So let us take a scenario. John and his IT team is responsible for managing machines before and after this pandemic that had struck us. So this is his architecture. Let us say he is managing close to 10,000 computers across the globe. In this scenario, there will be three types of users to be managed: a regular user with a VPN connectivity, a user that is provided with VPN for work from home, and users without VPN who use cloud-based applications or an application on edge. So using the secure gateway server, you can manage completely remote users without a VPN connectivity. So an IT admin will be facing a lot of challenges to securely manage the endpoints in a distributed environment. So I have listed the most common challenges faced in the following screen. So let us take a real-time use case here and demonstrate how remote control and tools will assist you in troubleshooting. Starting off with announcement. So let us say John and his IT team are planning to patch the end users on the third Saturday of the month. And now they have to inform their end users to leave the machines on and save the work. How can this be communicated through Desktop Central? Well, let me show you. This is the Desktop Central web console. You can see in a single pane of glass, you have access to all of the management functionalities. So the tools module is what we are going to be looking at today. Let me log in as John, the IT admin, and navigate to tools. Here, I can make use of the announcement option. I can create an announcement, specify the required details that has to be displayed to the end user. I can compose my preferred message, configure a start and end time, and have that message shown either once or multiple times at frequencies of my preference. And since you can target specific users or remote offices or even OUs or AD groups, you can exactly choose the target users that you want to send an alert to. So I've created an example WFH patch cycle here. So you can compose your preferred message, specify the announcement time, and hit on save. So once you had deployed this announcement or scheduled it, the end user will see a message as shown over here. This is an example on the end user view of how the alert will be looked like. Let us look at another scenario. Let us assume an end user sends 2 tickets to the IT help desk team through Service Desk portal. So Service Desk Plus is an ticketing solution provided by ManageEngine, which tightly integrates with Desktop Central. So let us assume this ticket was assigned to a help desk technician named as John. The John checks his help desk portal and he notices 2 tickets. One for installing Adobe Acrobat, and secondly, to troubleshoot an issue with display adapters. So John is planning on using the remote control feature to assist the end user. So let us see how we can do this. For better understanding, let us assume myself as John, the technician. So I have logged in as John right now. And if I check my Service Desk Plus portal, I can see 2 tickets have been raised. One for installing Adobe Acrobat and the other for troubleshooting some sort of display adapter issues. So let me go to Desktop Central, navigate to Tools, and use the remote control functionality. So here I can search for the end user by computer name, by username, or by IP address. And once I have narrowed down the end user, I can initiate a remote control. So once you click on connect, you have the option to specify the reason message. So let us mention install Adobe, for example. And I have the option to specify the Service Desk Plus request ID. So I know that my ID is number 3 for this ticket. Let me have this provided here. And once I click on connect, a remote session will be initiated from a new window. Now, before prompting the remote session, you can choose to enable user confirmation, which prompts the end user for approval before initiating the remote control. If you require unattended access, you can disable this option. So going back to our remote control screen, you can see that 2 monitors have been detected. So multi-monitor support is present, and I can choose my primary monitor, which I want to provide support on. I can view both the monitors simultaneously or have them in a vertical or horizontal layout. So there are some built-in options that helps me with my remote support. So let me switch to full screen. And now I have to install Adobe Acrobat. So I might require to connect to a network share, which might be confidential or requires a credential. So I can use the blacken monitor option to temporarily blacken the end user screen. So I can access my network share and provide the credentials without having the end user look at that information. I can also choose to disable their keyboard input if you don't want the end user to disturb during my support process. So now that I have blackened the monitor, I can quickly launch whatever services that I want. So say I want to launch Explorer to connect to the network share. I can click on Explorer and it will be instantly launched in the end user's computer. So now I can silently access the network share and install the application that I want to. I can also choose to access other features like, device manager. So the second issue that we had here was troubleshooting display adapter issues. So how can I overcome that now that I've installed the application? So instead of driving through the operating system here, I can quickly search for device manager and launch it on the end user's computer. And I can navigate to the required display adapter and look at how I can troubleshoot it. But maybe this is not my cup of tea. I don't have enough expertise on this. So I can invite my colleague Peter to join in this remote session and provide assistance. So let us take an example of Peter, who is my colleague. I can navigate as Peter. Let me use a different browser and log in as Peter and sign in to the web management console. Here, let me navigate to the tools module and head over to remote control. So here I can see the view desktop option instead of connect. And I can see that John has already joined a few minutes back. So when I click on view desktop, it shows that John is already sharing this desktop and if I want to continue. So simply by providing yes, I will be able to join his remote control session and request support. So you can choose to navigate and switch from view only mode to the session mode and provide support along with John. So I can quickly launch device manager, navigate to the required display adapter and update the driver or uninstall the device however I want to provide support. Now say that after performing your required changes, you might require to reboot the client machine. We have multiple shortcuts present under quick launch. So you can provide support and perform the reboot or shutdown as well. And once rebooted, the remote session can be automatically connected. Now, in addition to these, there are some shortcuts for admin tasks. So say you need to quickly run the GP update command or configure a task. There are shortcuts that are present here and they are run as the system user account. So you can leverage the local admin for triggering these shortcuts. In addition to those, you can transfer files to and from the client machine or even engage in a text chat, voice, or a video call with the end user. So before performing a reboot, you can initiate a text chat and confirm with the user if it is all right to reboot the computer. And once the end user says it's fine, you can perform the reboot operations directly from the product. And once you're completed with the remote session, you can simply close the window to terminate the remote control. And you can see an option that allows me to add the work log, resolution, and notes to the Service Desk Plus ticket. So I had already entered my ticket ID, so it was pre-entered over here. I can change the status to resolved. So I can close the ticket directly from Desktop Central and add work log information, resolution, and note details automatically to Service Desk Plus. So when you navigate to Service Desk Plus and view the list of tickets that you have, you can view the current status, the work log details, and even get a time analysis on how much time was consumed during this remote control session. Now, let us talk about how remote control works. So, remote control uses two elements. One is a gateway server and the other is a notification server. The technician 1 logs into the Desktop Central console with his user account in his computer. So once he searches for Bob at the end user and clicks on connects, the Desktop Central server listens to the technician over the port 8027. And that sends a message to the end target machine that has the Desktop Central agent running. The Desktop Central agent will start the remote control service. This remote control service captures the images and sends them to the desktop central server. The gateway component that you see here will forward these images to technician 1. So in this scenario, John was technician 1. Now, when Peter had joined the technician, John, for providing support, when he clicks on connect, the gateway is able to intelligently find out it's an ongoing session. So it has the capability of identifying the existing connection. So the same gateway shares the images to technician 2 as well. So that is how multiple technicians can jump on a remote control session and provide support to a target client. So these are the ports that are required in order for these functionalities to happen, and they can be modified to a port of your preference as well. Now we can take another real case scenario, system slowness. So let us assume that the end user sends a ticket for system slowness. What are the things that you can do from Desktop Central? It can be something with Task Manager and services, review the event logs for better analysis, or maybe check the disk space, which slows the computer. Or maybe we have to do some cleanup or configure storage sense, which is available on modern Windows 10 operating systems. So let us see how we can leverage these in Desktop Central. So going back to my web console, I can navigate to the Tools tab. So I don't have to disturb the end user Bob. I can use System Manager and silently access and provide support without disturbing the end user. So say that the system slowness is due to a task running. I can navigate to Task Manager and it connects me with the Task Manager without interrupting the end user. I can see the list of processes that are running on the client machine and the startup programs as well. I can find how much memory is being consumed and sort them out, and even kill those tasks that are consuming high resources to mitigate the system slowness issues. I can also navigate to the list of services and stop a service, start a service, restart, or completely disable a service as well. I can also check the current file space. I can navigate to File Manager, which gives me an idea of how much free space is present, and even perform deletion of files. So I can delete a file, copy a file, cut a file to a different location, or even download the file from the client machine to your computer for analysis purposes. You can also view the event viewer logs, which will give you an idea of what went wrong in the client machine. You can filter the logs as well, and you can export the log using the export icon as a PDF, CSV, or an Excel format. So similarly, there are a bunch of options in System Manager, which you can access silently without having to disturb the end user. One such good example is also the registry, which can allow me to navigate registry on a live basis and perform any modifications as required. So these will help me troubleshoot the system slowness. Now, there is also an additional functionality under Tools, which is used as System Tools. So now that I have cleaned up the disk space, but I don't want to do that manually every time. So I can add a task as a scheduled task to run things like check disk cleanup, or disk defragmenter as well. So I can choose exactly what kind of drives should the check disk be implemented on, fix the errors on the disk, or perform a quick check as well. On disk cleanup, I can choose exactly what kind of temporary files have to be wiped out on a scheduled basis. You can also configure the settings for storage sense, which is available on Windows 10, 1703 and above. And whether you want to clean the disk space automatically and delete the files in recycle bin over a period of days. Similarly, you can configure the settings for disk defragmenter for multiple drives that you have and perform low or normal priority and have it run in the background or in a verbose mode. So once you have configured your jobs over here, you can define your targets. So this definition of targets is common across all the modules of Desktop Central. So I can choose my domain or work group or the different remote sites that I have added. I can further click on the filter icon and choose a specific computer, a specific custom group, an OU, an AD group, a range of IP addresses, or even based on the operating system. And once I've filtered my target, I can schedule this. If I want to run it using a domain admin credential, have it triggered maybe once or weekly or the first of every month, the first day and the first week. And you can have it synchronized across time zones since you're managing globally. And you can configure to run the storage sense automatically during the low free disk space scenario or every day, every week, or every month. So this is how you can configure system tools to ensure that your computers are running with the best possible maintenance automatically. We also have remote command prompt. So this is also included in the system manager. So say if you just want, without disturbing the end user, you can access command prompt, and on a new window, command prompt will be initiated. You can instantly run any kind of command and get your output without disturbing the end user. So all of these falls under system manager. Now let us look at enabling IT policies to monitor endpoint productivity in a distributed workforce. So this is one of the most important requirement for any organization. Nowadays, we need to keep track of activities of employees in various levels and need to enforce IT policies. So I have taken few common examples here. Let us check them one by one. Generating user logon reports to find out which user logged on to what computer and at what time. Power management reports to view detailed uptime and downtime information. You can also meter the usage of an application to find out productivity information. And you can also monitor the web activity of a user to get insights based on the browsers that have been used and websites that have been visited. Because nowadays, most of the applications are web-based and are in cloud. So we need to understand our employees' browsing patterns to come up with a strategy to improve security and productivity for the end user. So let's see about how we can generate these productivity reports. Starting with user logon reports, we can navigate to the reports tab of Desktop Central and navigate to user logon reports. There are multiple predefined reports that are available here. So currently logged on users, currently logged on computers, user logon history to get an information of the currently logged on users as well. To show you some data, let me give you an example. So you want to find out the user logon history by computer. You can navigate that, find out which computer and how many login counts are there, and export this report on demand. You can also view by domain controllers with reported users or your currently logged in users to find out when they have logged in. You can also perform a filtration for the report as well and find out from a period of time from A to B, how many users were logged in and to what computers, and generate a report for that. Powered management reports to find the system uptime and downtime report. You can enable that and find out the total uptime of a specific server or a computer and the downtime as well. If you click on that machine or move to detailed view, you can get exact date-wise information along with the startup and shutdown time and the last time the agent contacted with the server. You can also use the predefined filters that are present to narrow down or use a custom date to filter out your preferred information. Now, let's say a machine has been up for a long time and it requires a reboot or a shutdown. You can also do that from Desktop Central. You can navigate to the Tools module, head over to Remote Shutdown, where you can select multiple machines and on demand shut down a computer or schedule a restart or standby as well. So not just on demand, but you can create a task to have all of your machines rebooted after showing an at a time of your weekly or monthly or however you like it. There is complete customization the IP broadcast is enabled and at least one computer is enabled and live in the target sub using the Wake on LAN feature. Also use the settings option and enable the feature be managed through internet, VPN, or MPLS connections. The internet or the roaming users who are not connected by VPN, meaning your roaming users, can be managed securely through a secure gateway server. When it comes to remote locations, you can create branch offices and have a distribution server in each of your branch offices to better manage the bandwidth consumption in that remote location. So you can choose to have the machines communicate directly to Desktop Central or through a distribution server. The Desktop Central server also integrates with your Active Directory. So it can fetch AD objects for agent installation, AD reports. You can also deploy softwares and patches targeting Active Directory groups or organizational units. Desktop Central can also be hosted in Azure or AWS as well. And in case you want to manage a closed network, which has no internet connectivity and deploying patches to those closed network machines, that is also possible. Please contact us over the chat to get more information regarding closed network management. So you can host your on-premise server in Azure or AWS. And Desktop Central is recently released as a cloud version as well to manage your endpoints the SaaS way. So you can also sign up for a 30-day trial using the below link mentioned on the slide. We can also look at the different agent installation methods that are possible to deploy the agents. So you can either use a group policy in your Active Directory to deploy the agents, or you can completely automate the agent installation from the web console. You can push the agent on demand silently to a managed computer, or have the agent deployed automatically to any newly added domain joined computers. If you would rather use an image to deploy the agent or use a script or manual methods, that is also possible. So do get in touch for the complete installation method details. So this agent that is installed on the client machine is scalable from small to large networks. This is because of something known as a 90-minute refresh policy. Every agent communicates with the desktop central server once every 90 minutes. So even if you have 90 machines, 900 machines, or even 9,000 machines for that matter, they will be equally divided between them, and each machine will be given a specific time to talk with the desktop central server. So the desktop central server has the intelligence to assign a time for each client to talk to the server. So this is to avoid network congestion and to limit downloads that can actually eat up all of your bandwidth. So this 90-minute refresh policy is designed in such a way that it will split the load evenly across your distributed workforce and not cause any damage to your network. These are the ports that are required to be enabled in Desktop Central for both HTTPS as well as HTTP. The notification server is responsible for any on-demand activities. So 8027 is required for operations like remote control or asset scanning. You can also change these ports on the web console. We can get into that as well. So let us look at a few scenarios and solutions from what we have discussed so far. So how do you measure the time spent by technicians who are handling the tickets related to Desktop Central? Well, good question. So if you want to view the details directly on Service Desk Plus, you can navigate to click on the request and view the find out how much time was taken to resolve. A time analysis can also be shown and a history of changes made to this ticket. You can also view on the Tools tab, Remote Control, and the History tab to find out which technician remoted to what computer for as well. We would like to monitor the activities of students in our school without their knowledge. Is this possible? Yes, you can. So going to the settings option in Tools, you can hide the remote cursor and you can uncheck the option to notify the end users. So the end users will not be notified. You can also choose to enable view only mode. So the end user is not disturbed by you. And you can hide the remote control cursor as well. So in case you're a healthcare company and you require to be in compliant, such as HIPAA compliance, how can you achieve that in Desktop Central? You can navigate to the user confirmation option. So one of HIPAA's most common requirement is to prompt the end user for confirmation. So you can enable the user confirmation box, have a customizable message sent out to the end user for approval. And once they approve it, you can have access to their computer. You can also exclude computers without getting prior consent or make the confirmation permanent once the user allows you to their system. Installing and configuring IIS on a remote machine might be complex. So if you want to document the process and use it as a training material for newcomers, how can you do that? We also have a screen recording option enabled. So you can enable the screen recording option where all of your remote control activities can be stored securely and you can review them under the Tools tab. So navigate to Remote Control, enable screen recording here, and under the History tab, you can download and view the videos real time and share this to the colleagues for educational purposes. In case your remote sessions are slow when you're in a different country or you're connected through internet as a roaming user, how can you combat this issue? You can do that by configuring the performance option. For every remote office that you manage, you can specify the compression quality and the color quality. So you can reduce this for get optimum experience during your remote control sessions. One of the user might suspect that an unauthorized remote access was done to his machine, and it has raised to the IT manager. Is there a way you can find out which technician remoted to that computer? Yes, you can. As shown earlier, the History tab will give you a complete idea of which technician remoted to what computer and at what time. You can search for a specific technician or computer and find that as well. Not just for remote control, any activity done across Desktop Central is stored in the audit logs. So the action log viewer will show you which technician has performed what operation to which computers. So not just remote control, but any activity can be audited in Desktop Central. If you have few servers hosted in a no-man environment and the company policies demands the user's approval before remote session, how can you handle this? Yes, you're right. You can use the same user confirmation dialog box. You can enable the user consent, after which the remote control can be initiated. You can uncheck this option to get unattended access in the environment that has no personals working there. Now, we can see some commonly and frequently asked questions. So if you're running the Desktop Central mobile app on your phone, can you initiate a remote control? Yes, you can. So under the admin tab, you can actually download the Desktop Central mobile app that is available for Android and iOS devices. Once you have installed this mobile application, you can log in, perform remote control, specify the reason message, and remote into any of the devices. The gestures that have been designed will allow you to efficiently manage your computers through mobile devices. So gestures such as tap, long press, pinch in and out will help you in your remote control process, even switching between monitors. In fact, the system manager option, which we used earlier for accessing event viewer logs or command prompt, can also be accessed. And you can on demand shut down, restart, or hibernate a computer, all from the ease of your mobile phone. Does the screen recording need to be turned on before the remote control is established? Yes, you will require to enable the screen recording option prior to initiating the remote control. So if you want the video, ensure that screen recording is enabled. To allow multiple technicians to work on a same remote machine, does it require additional licenses from ManageEngine? Well, the feature itself does not require an additional license, but in order to create multiple technicians and have them access the web console, multiple technician licenses are required for every technician that requires an individual access. So yes, you will require additional technician licenses. Now, will the remote control automatically reconnect this session? Yes, once the reboot is completed, it will automatically connect you over the remote control session. Now, sometimes you might see an error that the port 8443 is blocked and the remote control might not work. How can you resolve this? So yes, in your environment, there is a chance that the port is already in use. So you can navigate to the Tools tab and click on Port Settings on the right-hand side. Here, you have full control over what ports can be configured. So simply change the port to a preferred port of your preference to simply resolve the issue. Is it possible to take remote control of a roaming users? Yes, if you use the secure gateway server for on-premise, or if you're using the cloud version of Desktop Central, you can provide remote support, and all the functionalities of Desktop Central will be done without a VPN connectivity to your roaming users. Does the Wake on LAN feature require specific ports to be enabled in the router to send the wake up commands? Well, there are some prerequisites that are required. If you navigate to the Tools tab and click on Wake on LAN, you can see the prerequisites that are required. it has to be directed to broadcast on the router, and at least one computer should be alive in the target subnet. If you want the remote connection to be automatically disconnected if the technician was idle for more than 10 minutes, how do you do that? You can simply navigate to the Tools tab, click on Remote Control, and navigate to Settings, where you can enable the idle session and specify this minute as 10 minutes, where you can disconnect the remote session automatically or even have the machine locked after disconnecting the remote session. If your company requires to employ stringent privacy policies that limits technicians or admins from accessing user files or folders, how can you achieve that? So in today's work from home environment, security is a huge concern. So yes, you can specify the restrictions for silently accessing files or command prompt. Navigate to the admin tab and navigate to system manager settings, where you can disable these features for specific users or for all users, or only make them available for the administrators for both file manager and even command prompt. You can also choose to request for permission before accessing the file manager or command prompt if required. Now, Desktop Central is a complete suite of features, including patch management, software deployment, OS deployment, and asset management. Now, if you have requirements for only these remote control features that I showed you today and not require a complete UAM solution, you can consider the standalone Remote Access Plus application. It is free to try for 30 days and available as an on-premise solution and a cloud-hosted solution as well. So if you want to learn more about Desktop Central or the Remote Access Plus application, please do get in touch using the below links or share your details to us over the chat, and we can have a one-on-one personalized demonstration scheduled to discuss about the product. So we are coming on the last leg of this presentation. I hope the features and the uses that we discussed today was informative. If you feel like you have learned something new today, please rate us on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the best. And please do spread the word if you like the training. You can visit Twitter, Facebook, or LinkedIn and use the hashtag and spread the word about Desktop Central. Last but not the least, regarding the next training schedule is for configurations and hidden tricks, which is going to take place on May 11th, 6:30 GMT for Europe, Middle East, and Asia, and 11:30 Eastern Time for US, UK, Canada, and Mexico. If you require a personalized demonstration, please do let us know by visiting the below link or sharing your details over the chat. We are upbeat to have assisting you. So once again, thank you all for your continued patience and the participation for today's webinar. Have a great day. Thank you.